Coming up on this retrospective episode of Outlook TV. A look back at Montreal Pride.
Uncle Jane's Crystal Queer Comedy.
Jakyllyn Hyde's spring cleaning. And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay. And you're in a new year watching the Queer Magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
We're going to give you a retrospective of a bunch of our favorite stories from the year that we just had, that one back there.
2018?
That's the one. We're going to start it off in Montreal.
I believe Ollie has the story.
The Montreal Pride Festival offers a lot when it comes to free live entertainment. When choosing a local artist or an international act like RuPaul's Drag Race Queens, the organizers of Montreal Pride always make sure to showcase diversity.
Less heartless coward with no power. That's just another trick of his. He ain't no whistle, don't feed his fire.
Doing our best to put the spotlight on people of color, and especially not only to put the spotlight but to give a voice. But we don't want to talk for people of color, but I want to make sure that all the people of color that are involved with Montreal Pride have the occasion to speak and to be here, to be heard.
We're putting women at the forefront this year, and Pride is fully behind everything that is about equality is at Pride. And despite the fact that we're here to celebrate who we are and our authentic selves, we're still emphasizing on the causes that drive us. And that, it makes me emotional. It's really important, and I'm really happy that this year we're doing this and we keep on doing it.
As a Lebanese Canadian singer, as you know, it's very difficult, and it's very hard to be a gay in the Middle East. So I won't choose my songs, as a singer, my talent, to prove to everybody, to the world, that we need to be proud. And as a Lebanese, I'm very proud to be here.
I started doing drag 10 years ago, and I've seen a lot of Spice Girls show, and my dream was to be part of one. The best way of being part in something is when you make it your own. So I start doing all the costume, all the copy, and I build the whole show.
Starting to get more known for our outdoor shows, especially the one on Thursday, Drag Superstar, which showcase about 40 drags from RuPaul's Drag Race. So people are really excited by this show.
For Outlook TV, this is Ollie in Montreal's Gay Village.
Let's check out some art from last year.
Was it artistic?
It was very artistic. Tiko Kerr had some new works, and he was doing an exhibition of them.
Angus has the story and had more elocution than I at the time.
Legendary Vancouver artist Tiko Kerr has a new exhibition opening today at the South of Main Gallery here in Vancouver. We're here to talk to the man today to find out all about it.
It's kind of a retrospective of our generation, how in the 50s and 60s we had this opportunity to think of progress in these really grand, overly optimistic terms, and now realizing that maybe some of those myths are just myths.
Who or what was your inspiration for Legends of Utopia?
Gosh, it's everything from, I mean, the central piece of the exhibition is called Birth of the Cool. Is based on Miles Davis' 1957 jazz album, kind of epitomizing that sort of hopeful optimism that we all had at that time. And then it kind of moves into more contemporary reimaginings of, for example, Lauren Harris, which is behind me. It's Lauren Harris painting upside down that I've reconfigured into a floating figure. And then it gets momentum with looking at security issues like children being murdered with guns and democracy and the Trump era. I also played with cutting out parts of Andy Warhol's revolvers.
Getting into your art a little bit, your style has had an evolution over the years. Can you give us a little bit of an overview of where you've come from and where you're going?
Well, initially, my work was very figurative. I spent a lot of time looking at the human figure and doing that sort of thing. I moved to Vancouver where I was taken by the landscape, and so I did that for a very long time, and it's kind of what I'm known for here. And then the last few years, I've decided to get back into figuration. My process is now involving working with paper collage, so that the paper collage are actually the studies for larger paintings. And the paintings now are these big, kind of loud abstractions that I'm really enjoying.
You had a recent health challenge that had some impact on your work. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I had a little brush with cancer, and it turned out really well, fine. But it gave me the opportunity to look at my work and say, you know what, why don't I really change my work right now? So I took a leap, and I'm doing, I think, the most interesting work of my career right now. So I credit that health challenge to where I am today.
Art history is come up in my research for this project. Can you tell us if that had some impact on today's exhibit?
Absolutely. I'm plundering art history as much as I can right now. I like to source my material from works of art that have always moved me from over the course of my education about art, and to introduce works that are familiar in some way, but in an unusual way, so that they're recontextualized in kind of our more contemporary way.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at the Soma Gallery in Vancouver.
It's time for us to take a little break.
And we're going to do our vocal warm-up. Red leather, yellow leather.
I'm good.
Okay, red leather.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
In this next story, we've got something queer for you, and believe it or not, it's going to be flaming.
Yeah, but it's stories. It's all about stories. This story is about stories.
It's called Flame.
I love it.
Hey, you flaming homos! Outlook TV is here on Main Street to check out the flame. Come on, we're going to light the place on fire.
The Flame is a storytelling event that takes place here at Hood 29, formerly Cottage Bistro. It is a night where storytellers come along and they tell all their amazing stories about themselves. They have to be true and they have to be a few, so about 7 minutes or so. Tonight's storytelling event theme is LGBTQ+. I think events like this are important because it's great for people to get their stories out there. It's like therapy a little bit, and you have a whole audience of counselors to help you through it.
How did this all begin?
10 years ago in our front room, actually. We brought a bunch of friends together and they told their stories just to test fly it, to see how it would work. My wife, Deborah, is one of the originators, and we had another on board, Joel, working in. Always enjoyed listening to the podcasts of The Moth and thought that we could do something similar to that here in Vancouver. And Deborah really wanted to be able to bring her friends to a venue close by. So we walked the 2 or 3 blocks from our home to set this up each month.
Tell you how I got pregnant. Man friend, cup, wife, tiny turkey baster, butt in the air on a pillow, orgasm.
I'm hoping to have people laugh a little bit. I'm sort of telling my coming out story and how a certain family member reacted. So it should be fun, I hope. I went to an all-girls school and was told all my life for 13 years that lesbians were disgusting. And to have the platform to share that story and to share with others that it's okay to be gay and to have kids realize that as well is huge for me.
I showed up at my first Vancouver Pride event back in 2013, and the first thing that I was asked was, what are your pronouns? Well, I didn't know what that meant, so I asked, and I was immediately told about trans people and what it means to be trans, and something at that point clicked. I personally have struggled with social anxiety, and I ended up getting over that by just throwing myself into situations. And I understand that's not everyone's approach, but if you feel comfortable coming out and sharing your story or listening to other people's stories, then I would say do it, because you might learn a lot, and it might lead you in a whole new direction than you might have thought.
Am I willing to give up my place in heaven just to be with women? Yes!
We don't need no water, let that mother burn. I'm Emily Ann Fraser reporting live for OutlookTV Vancouver.
All right, Robert, let's see if your elocution has come along at all. Uncle Jane's show is called?
The Crystal Queer Comedy.
Good job. Now say it again.
Crystal Queer.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Hi, we are here at Little Mountain Gallery for Crystal Queer Comedy by Uncle Jane's. It's the premiere show, and we've brought together a whole bunch of queer improvisers from all over the city in one new ensemble.
Has anyone here seen improv before, or has everyone seen improv before? Clap your hands!
Tonight we've got the premiere show of Uncle Jane's is the name. It's a queer show for an ensemble cast of improvisers from all around the city. It's called Crystal Queer Comedy. What inspired this show is I was doing some improv in Toronto, and there's a similar show. It's called Kinsey Fail, and I got to be in that show, and it's very exciting, and I realized that how much you kind of hold back a queer improviser on stage and are sort of forced into hetero relationships on stage, and how nice it was to just be a part of an ensemble that was all queer and that a lot of the audience was queer, and you could just kind of be yourself on stage, and I wanted to do something like that here.
I like my partners like I like my shoes, able to contain my stinkiness.
We're doing an improv show called Uncle Jane's, but it also has a jam component beforehand, and the focus of this is queer improv, so by queers, for queers. Yeah, which is really cool because it's a usually fairly heteronormative scene, so that's pretty exciting. I got involved with Uncle Jane's when I went to a jam at Blind Tiger, so here about a month ago. That was for women, trans, and femme. I fall under one of those categories. So yeah, Jill, I got to do a jam there with Jill a little bit, and then she asked me to be involved with this.
I like my partners like I like my shoes, available to me in the morning at the front door.
I do Sin Peaks with Jill, which is a live improvised soap opera, and she just reached out to me and she was like, hey, you're bi, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, do you want to do this show? I'm like, sure, why not? Yeah. I see Little Mountain Gallery as like a great community-driven theater. Everything that we do here is about the community, about the audience, about building this place that people can come together and just watch really cool, weird, kind of unique shows. You know, it doesn't adhere to the mainstream or to what's popular.
If you come to the show, you'll be laughing for gays.
Well, what a show that was. That was hilarious. What a talented group of performers. Tune in to Little Mountain Gallery and Blind Tiger Comedy for future shows. I'm Michael Sousa with OutlookTV.
The Loud Business Group gave out scholarships this year.
And if there's anyone who needs more money, it's the queers, because we just don't have enough for the fashion that we have to maintain. Let's see who's got the story. I believe it's John.
Hi, we're here at the 9th Annual Loud Business Scholarship Awards, encouraging leadership in our LGBT community. Let's go on in there and cheer them on.
LOUD stands for leadership, opportunity, unity, and diversity. That branding took hold, and in 2009 we granted our first scholarships.
Education is very expensive. I too went through university, and I know how expensive it was at that time, and it's only gotten more expensive. So it just makes a big difference for them to be able to, go to university and better themselves, and then make a difference to the community in the future.
In the past, I have done a good amount of work in the community, and when I applied for the scholarship, I was looking for support in terms of paying for hearing aids that I needed, and so I was actually one of Gina Best's scholarship recipients.
Kind of growing up and going through my transition in the process of coming out, I was never
I was sure that I'd be loved, but I was never sure that I'd be celebrated for being who I am. And I guess that's what I'm doing here tonight, is just being celebrated for who I am. Well, next year I'm going to Dalhousie University to study costume studies for like theater, basically. So I guess I'm going to put this towards my tuition so I don't have to take out student loans.
I've been involved with Vancouver Pride for a long time. I was a vice president for about 5 years or so, and I'm also involved with Interpride, which is the international body of Pride organizers, and so I'm a vice president on their board and have been for the last 5 years as well.
Specifically, in the future, I want to use my position as a physician to help guide LGBTQ+ youth to discover and disclose their sexual orientation and gender identity.
This scholarship, I plan to continue to both continue my work theoretically, and I'm happy to announce I will be starting my PhD in the fall in kinesiology.
When I was 11 years old, I took 2 buses to a library that was 3 towns over to ask a librarian there if they had any stories about girls who wanted to be boys. And they gave me The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, which is a book by Tamora Pierce. Yes, she's amazing.
I challenge everyone to listen to people's stories with an open mind.
This has been John Crossan with OutlookTV at the 9th Annual Loud Scholarship Awards. Congratulations to all the lucky winners, and see you next year.
We're going to have to take another little break now.
Do you hear it, Rebecca?
I hear nothing.
The time is ending on a retrospective soon.
Not yet, though. Not yet. Come back. See the rest.
I'm Desiree Knight Neesview, and you're watching OutlookTV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
And we're heading into the Valley of the Greater Vancouver Regional District for
spring cleaning
with Jakyllyn Hyde.
What a great name, Jakyllyn Hyde. Love it.
Rumor has it that there's never been a drag show here in Coquitlam before. So here we are at the Evergreen Center to see Jakyllyn Hyde's spring queening event. A drag show in this beautiful venue.
Tonight is going to be an amazing show. It's down here at Evergreen Cultural Center, the very first drag show in the Tri-Cities. We're super excited. I started advertising this show, and I have never had so much interest from high school students and from people who are just going into university who watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
I've been doing drag in Abbotsford and Mission for, oh God, almost 10 years, and now the shows are actually selling out, so it's fantastic. People are really into drag. It's like the trendy thing right now. Who would have thunk it?
It's going to be so exciting because it's an audience I haven't played. So that should be fun too. I'm doing really simple stuff because I thought, you know, I don't want to overwhelm them in our first date. The new drag I don't think is really drag. I come from a whole different thing where you worked your way up and you know, you worked your way into a show. Yeah, like Carlotta and Willie and all them are my kids. Like Joni, they're all people that I started, and you know, all the big stars now were kids of mine 100 years ago. So I look at this and I look at the resurface of drag and the change in drag, and I think it's really cool that it's becoming arts again, theater art.
We are expecting lots of very excited people. Obviously, I'm pretty sure half of these people have never even seen a drag show before, so I'm sure people will be very excited, and we're so excited to have everyone. And if I had any advice to give to people who were interested in doing drag, I might say just go for it. Find a certain female icon and then use that as your inspiration to find your own unique personal drag style. Any tricks that you can give on to next generations?
Find someone who can help you. The drag community is so accepting and willing to help new people get into the game. As soon as
you contact someone and tell them you're getting into the game, they want to help. They're so excited because we always love having more people in the community. So yeah, if I'm lucky, I get 2 to 3 shows a month. My next one is in Abbotsford at Cheers. It's going to be an amazing show. Me and Anita are both going to be there.
From the Evergreen Center here in Coquitlam, I'm Kyle with OutlookTV.
And now it's time to look again at the passing of a legacy.
And what better way to have a legacy than to be the legacy of a princess?
We're at the GVNCS's Passing of a Legacy 41. We're honoring Princess Desiree Knight and her reign, as well as finding out more about what the GVNCS does and what services they provide for the Greater Vancouver Area Native Cultural Society. Let's find out more.
Actually, 41 years ago, when we first landed into this beautiful province, right? But like a lot of two-spirited people, that name itself wasn't with us at the time. Concept of two-spirited. We left our reserves to find safety and to find security and acceptance amongst the gay, lesbian, transgender community. But unfortunately, that was not to happen. We faced racism, we faced stereotype. So what happened is a core group of us, and most have gone to the spirit world right now. So we decided to organize. And 41 years later, we're still here. A lot of things certainly have transpired within that 41 years. How we got the name Two Spirit again was we had a conference in probably around 1992, I believe. And this was within all the two-spirited people in North America. We decided that we needed a name that identified us all as a collective. And it didn't matter if we were coming from the Mi'kmaq people in Eastern Canada or from the people on the tip of Vancouver Island. We all had sacred names and we all had sacred roles. And so that concept of two-spirited came about.
I am two-spirit, and it was nice to be able to have a place to call home with friends that understood, oh, you're not gay, you're not lesbian, you are two-spirit, and it's like, such a beautiful term. It's like, okay, great,
We do our many events where we have the blessings that we do. We are now being asked more and more for this, which is a thing that you're saying, well, now you're being looked on and being respected more.
I would like to say that Vancouver right now is our home, and we build our culture in our families, providing a home away from home and showing that we can practice our cultures and traditions away from home and still be able to honor our nations along the way and let you know that we are welcome. And we are working towards being able to have a conference in this coming year, a 5-day conference for all over BC Aboriginal Two-Spirit people to come out and really see what Vancouver has to offer.
For the Passing of the Legacy 41, this is Sister Fancy Pants for Outlook TV.
That's all the time we have for this second retrospective episode, but if you join us later, we'll have all brand new stories coming at you for the rest of 2019.
And you know what else is packed with brand new things all the time, everywhere, constantly connected? It's the internet, and it's full of social media, so follow us on all the different beep, boops, and bloops that you find out there, or shoot us an email if you want to join us to volunteer.
New year, new you. Join us. Thanks so much. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay.
Stay festive, Canada.